All right, Shalom, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who have labored faithfully in His truth and are the true teachers of Israel today. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, Habayath Madawadah, the brothers is laboring in the four corners of the earth to make their calling of election sure. And to the listeners, the Akim and Akwathim, who also listen and believe on Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, to you I say Shalom as well. So it's the brother Sagalah coming back with another lesson, through the Rakak Wadash, the Holy Spirit, Lord willing, is edifying to those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, through the Holy Spirit. So I'm going to jump right into it. And this lesson is going to be centered around this article, which is the premise of the lesson that I'm going to be doing today. And as you can see, the title says, my virginity is not synonymous with my sexuality. Jazz Anderson shares that she's bisexual. So Jazz Anderson is the daughter of one of these basketball wives, that be on a Basketball Wives TV show. And she came out with this article, or with this video, and the article was brought out here and posted on October the 28th. So this was just yesterday. And, this article and the video as well, I'm just going to read from the article, is an example of the confusion that's in the land of confusion, which is Babylon the Great, which is America. This low vibration energy, that's the epitome of carnality. Everything that's in Babylon is centered around nothing but carnality. Everything that's of the flesh, nothing is spiritual. So our people have fallen from being one spiritual people, to being a nation that's completely destroyed. A nation that's went through the worst forms of degradation that you could think, the worst known of any people ever on the planet. And that's the nation of Israel today. So, the only thing that makes sense to our people is carnality, is things of the flesh. Nothing can register in their spirit because they're not spiritual. 2/3 of our people are reprobates. They're void of judgment and they lack understanding. So this low vibration energy, this push, I'm going to get to this article and a few other things. So I'm going to read from the article and give you a few precepts, and hopefully it's edifying. So my virginity is not synonymous with my sexuality. So that right there is already a statement that you could tell that's just completely off, and it shows, the stupidity of our people. How much how much understanding that they lack, and how silly they are. And the Most High called His people stupid and sottish. So that statement in itself is just a sottish, stupid statement. So it says, last week, Tammy Roman's daughter, Jazz Anderson, shared a very personal matter on Fox Soul The Mix. She revealed that after being scared by her mother, she and her sister are both virgins at 24 and 26. So when you first read this, it sounds like, okay, what's wrong with that? Now we're going to continue to read and see why the title of the article is what it is. It says, now she's speaking up again to add a few additional details to the matter of her sexuality. Now, she came out and said she was a virgin, so now we're going to see how confused the land of confusion really is to our people. It says, Anderson said, before we get any further into the show, I just have something I want to clear up from last week's show. So as you know, last week I did say that I was a virgin. I shared that. A couple of days later, the blogs had a field day. People were all in the comments and all of my DMs as well. Basically, I had some doubters. I had some haters. And then I had some people who were just like, you're gay, so that's why you're a virgin. You're a lesbian, so that's why you're a virgin. See, first and foremost, being a virgin and being a woman that is not chaste, see, those two things that don't go together. Being a virgin, or having your virginity, and being a lesbian doesn't qualify for what it means to continue to be chaste. Being a virgin just doesn't mean that it's a woman that's never been touched by a man. You know, being a virgin means to be untainted, you know, to being untouched, being pure. We're going to get that, you know, through the Spirit as we continue on. Because now we see there's confusion about what it even means to have virginity. Because this particular woman came out saying that she was a virgin, and then now she's going to come back, as you see here, and speak about how she's bisexual, how she deals with women. So how then can you be a virgin if you are bisexual? You see, and even that's confusion, because she's a lesbian, and then if she dealt with men and women, then that goes into whoredom. You know, that goes into whoredom. So let's continue on. So first off, I want to say I stand on what I said last week. I mean what I say, and I say what I meant. I'm not taking that back. This is my truth. See, anytime you hear, you know, these cold words, these are buzzwords. They give you a greater understanding, you know, of the lack of understanding that people have and the confusion that Babylon brings. Babylon, it brings a lot of confusion to the people because it's the land of confusion. So anytime you hear, you know, this is my truth, you know, or these are your facts, or these are alternative facts, there's only one truth, and facts are something that can be proven. You can't have something that is alternative to what truth is. So this is my truth. What truth can you have but the truth? See, the scriptures being taken away and not being regarded, our people, you know, have fallen the furthest and are the most destroyed because they don't follow by the guidelines of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They don't even consider it, you know. So when you read Isaiah, the first chapter, it says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, you know. Salakia, it says, the ox knoweth his owner, the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. So that's Isaiah, the first chapter. The Lord said his people don't know who they are and who their power is, and they don't even consider. So they don't even consider the scriptures. They don't even consider anything the Most High says. They go by what they feel and what they think. And this is the epitome when we get into this article a little bit more. It says, we have people who sit at home and try to out other people, and that can be a very dangerous game, especially in 2020. You can't sit behind your computer and say things that could arbitrarily hurt people's personal lives and their family. Now, what I do want to say, third off, luckily, I've always been very honest with myself and with my mom, so I have no qualms with being honest with you guys on the mix. I felt it was necessary for me to do so. Someone doesn't have to say my truth for me. Once again, going into my truth. Now she continues on to say, I am bisexual. I do look at myself as a bisexual female in 2020. I've been with females and I've been with males. I'm not going to let anybody call me a lesbian because I do like guys. If I'm ever looking, or if I meet a great guy in the future, I'm down to date him as I've dated other guys in the past. So just to kind of end it right there, we see the level of confusion, you know, that's in the midst of Babylon. And once again, it's because Babylon is on a very low vibration. You know, Babylon is the worst civilization that there's ever been because there's a lack of, you know, spirituality. There's a lack, you know, of order. There's a lack, you know, of righteous standing in this land. This land was prophesied as the worst place that there ever would be because the Most High said it was so filthy and vile that the sins of this place reached unto heaven. He's going to have to destroy it. So that shows you the level of degradation that's, you know, in Babylon, and that has contributed to the fall of the nation of Israel, you know. So as we get into this lesson, I just want to go over a few small things. Which one, this confusion about what a virgin is. You know, this mass confusion about what it means to be a virgin. See, being a virgin is about being chaste. You know, and that chastity comes from being pure. That's where it comes from. There's a purity that comes with that chastity, or being chaste. So this particular individual is all in the midst of confusion. So this is the word virgin, common definition. It says a person who has never had sexual intercourse. So that's one understanding of a virgin. We get in the scriptures, it gets even more specific. It could be a young woman of marriageable age, whether married or unmarried, whether she had, had a husband and dealt with a man before or not. So this is a person who's never had sexual intercourse. It says some similarities, or what's similar is maiden. This is also found in the Bible. An unmarried girl or maid. It also says a person who is naive, innocent, or inexperienced in a particular context. And it gives an example of a political virgin. So it means being inexperienced. Well, how could she call herself a virgin if she's experienced men and women? But she says she never had sex with a man, but she's dated. So you see the confusion that's in the midst of this place. So being a virgin is being pure, untainted. You got these women nowadays will say that they're using vibrators and watching porn and all kind of stuff. So that's the confusion. So as we continue on to see, that doesn't make you a virgin. Just because you've never been touched by a man doesn't make you a virgin. Because it says also a virgin means to be chaste. It says abstinent, unmarried, unwed, maiden. It says pure. So being pure, virtuous, uncorrupted. When you're uncorrupted, that means you haven't been touched or tainted. It means you know that your sexuality is intact. So if you going back and forth between dating men that you have never had sex with and women that you have explored with, then that shows that doesn't qualify for being pure. So it says innocent, moral, decent. So none of that is decent. So first and foremost, in the eyes of the Most High, that's not righteous. So that's the first thing. That's not righteous. This is not righteous in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So let's get another example. So you get another example. Let's go to online etymology. Let's see what it says. This is online etymology dictionary. It says virgin from the 1200s, unmarried or chaste woman noted for religious piety. So being pious is a part of virginity. And piety gets into, being sincere, honest, and being devout. So when you read like in Romans the 16th chapter, those were pious women that were, aiding the ministry, etc. Not some regular thought in the world. These were women that were reformed and were spiritual. It says, not carnal. It says from the Latin, virginem, it says a maiden, an unwed girl or woman. And it speaks about unwed girl or woman because, you got situations like this. This woman is 24. You going back to the ancient world, women weren't, by then that was a shame. She would have had a husband already. She would have already been with the man, etc. But the confusion in this land is that it's different. She would have been already given over from her parents to a man already, from her father. So she would have left her father's name and went to her husband's name, the man that she laid down with. And she would have been, traded. It would have been for money and property. And that property, which is what she is, she would have been transferred over from her father and then to her husband, taking on the name of her husband. So that showed you the level of confusion. It says fresh, unused. So see, there we go, fresh and unused. That goes back to that chastity, It says, and it keeps thinking about a girl of marriageable age, a marriageable girl, a woman in a state of inviolable chastity. So she wouldn't have been violated in any kind of way, touched or tainted, Now that makes you pure. Continuing on, it says figurative sense of pure, untainted, attested from. So that's what it means to be a virgin, to be pure, And now, being a virgin is getting into the fact that now the confusion that's on earth is people don't even know what it means to be a virgin, or they come up with their own truth, their own understanding, which the Bible makes it clear what a virgin is. So this lesson is not about going into what is a virgin and what is not a virgin. What the purpose is of this lesson is getting into the fact that now there's a mist of confusion, in his land. And this confusion in Babylon has contributed to the destruction, of the minds of the people. So let's get into it. First and foremost, let's go to the book of Deuteronomy 23. Let's go into the law and get a little more understanding. So this is the book of Deuteronomy 23 and 17. It reads, "There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel." And this woman clearly is a whore because she's considers herself bisexual, and she's not had a sex with a man, but she's fooled around with women, and who knows what all she's done with women. She didn't make it clear, but no matter what, for her to be sexually attracted to a woman is already in violation. That already brings her into whoredom. The scriptures say, abstain from all appearance of evil. A woman being with a woman is evil and is wicked, So that would already put her in line right here with Deuteronomy 23:7. "There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel." So there's supposed to be no men homosexuals and no women lesbians. Clear. And the scriptures once again say, abstain from all appearance of evil. So anything that would even appear to be that way. So the justification for thinking that you're a virgin when, you are not pure and untainted or any of those things, but making up in your mind what that really means. Being a virgin don't just mean never having sex with a man. Okay? Verse 18, Deuteronomy 23:18, "Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Lord thy power for any vow, for even both of these are an abomination unto the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua thy power." And, this would be the equivalent of a whore trying to come into the congregation of believers, so she would have to have been repentant, But now the law is you couldn't bring a whore into the congregation of believers. She would be the equivalent of a dog or the other nations, literally a dog, but the other nations. And it says that all these things are an abomination for the Most High, So that shows you right there that how far from grace the women have fallen, Continuing on, next precept. So this woman is clearly a whore. She considers herself bisexual, which says really everything that needs to be said. Leviticus 21:9, it reads, "And the daughter of any priest, if she profane herself by playing the whore," so she's profaned herself. By calling herself bisexual is profaning herself. For being in line with that way of thinking is already profaning herself. By playing the whore, she profaneth her father. Because righteously, the way it's supposed to be is a wicked daughter brings shame unto her father. It says, but not, in this society, that doesn't account for it because most of the fathers are not in the household because, there's complete destruction of the nation. She shall be burnt with fire. So the way this would be pertaining to the law, it says that she will be burnt with fire. Now here it says the daughter of any priest. Now let's go to Exodus. It says the daughter of any priest should be burned with fire. Now we know the priests are the Levites, but just for more understanding, here's the book of Exodus 19:6. Exodus 19:6 says, "And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests." So the nation of Israel is a kingdom of priests and holy nation. Speaking of the whole nation, these are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And that's supported by the book of 1 Peter. 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter. So 1 Peter 2 and verse 9, speaking of that, how we're a kingdom of priests. 1 Peter 2 and 9, and it reads, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood." Speaking of Start with the men of Israel. We are a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into marvelous light. And that's speaking of the elect now. But our people, are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. So the elect are the ones coming back to that royal priesthood. Now, so going back to, once again, going back to Leviticus, what's the lock here? Going back to Exodus 19:6, it says, ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. So that's what the nation of Israel is, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Not what we see here in today's world, here in Babylon. Here in Babylon, our people are everything but that. So I got something else I want to add to this. So now what you have is things like this. So now you have the 100 most influential people. You see here, Megan Thee Stallion. These are the people of influence now. This is what it means to be a person of influence. Now, what has Megan Thee Stallion done of any influence or of any profit to the nation of Israel other than promote whoredom? Nothing. That's the answer. So now, when you continue on, let's get into it. All right, let's see if we can find this. Yeah, this is it. Here we go. So now, these are the lyrics, to the latest City Girl song. And it's called Kitty Talk. Now, I'm not going to read these lyrics because this is a bunch of garbage. Showing you that at least women coming up in the 90s and early 2000s, at least a lot of them could actually rap. And this just shows you that this is nothing, there's nothing in here that's even, that even makes any sense in what's being said. It's pussy this, pussy that, money this, money that. That's all that's in here. And that's what you see with the rappers, the women rappers nowadays. No substance. It's only, I got some big tits and a big butt. And that's all it is. All of it's just, it's finished. Now, what I did want to get out of this is show, so this is this song. It was just straight madness, speaking about nothing. Now, I pulled this up for one reason. There's lyrics in here. And it's a video that was from a performance just from, I guess it was the other night, of the City Girls doing this song. I can't remember if it was the BET Awards or what award show it was. But on here, in the lyrics, from the City Girls, which shows the low vibration, in the low vibration, the energy that's being pushed on the earth. In the song, one of the lines was, nasty but classy, Birkin bag me, spend a couple $1,000 on my tits and my ass cheeks. Those are the actual lyrics in the song. And all the rest of these lyrics too go hand in hand with how finished the nation of Israel is, how destroyed the nation of Israel is. Now we know in the song WAP, which just goes hand in hand, it says something similar in the song WAP. In Cardi B's line with the song with Megan Thee Stallion, WAP, it says, the one line, she goes, I don't cook, I don't clean, but I still got a ring. Showing you, the throughness, the finishedness of our people. That's the energy that's being promoted and being pushed to the younger women, and to women in general, because you got older women who look up to Megan Thee Stallion. You got women that's 50 years old and 60 years old that's singing the songs. Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, the City Girls. So, enough of this shit. Yahweh Shemi Shai is coming, to actually put all this to rest. So we're at the end of this thought culture, WAP culture, all of it, black culture, BET, all this is about to go. It's through. Now, what does the Lord have to say about this? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, the 4th chapter, and get a few precepts. So this is what the Lord got to say about, this type of nonsense. Isaiah 4:1, this is what the Most High said is coming. Isaiah 4:1, and in that day, 7 women, which is symbolic of a complete number, of completion. In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. That number could be 70, 700. It all depends on the Most High's portion he will think to give to each and every elect man, in that day, or the elect man he choose for this to be, their portion. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And that reproach is going to be the fact that women are going to know that they are the weaker vessel, and that's going to be clear. And they're going to know that they've been whores and sluts, that the Most High have rejected them. So only the elect women are going to come back and be in the right mind and right spirit, which some of them are waking up now to know they're going to need their reproach taken away, So you're going to see, and not in all cases, but in many cases, thus saith the scriptures, that it's going to be loads of women trying to find elect men, because they're going to see, those that are ordained for salvation are going to see clearly that in this day, it's going to be of your greatest benefit to be with a spiritual man. Now, right now, that's not the kind of energy that's being pushed. And right now, the energy is being pushed. I don't need a man. He better buy me Birkin bags and do this, pay my bills, so on and so forth. I don't got to cook and clean. I can do whatever. It don't really matter, because we got a lot of simps, in the nation of Israel. But, the Most High is coming to do away with the simps too. So the energy in the earth is changing because the truth is present. Let me go down to verse 4. Isaiah 4:4. It says, when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion. See, our women, are filthy. Starting with the opening article. The confusion. That contributes to the filth, the confusion. This woman speaking about she a virgin, but she's bisexual. That don't make no damn sense. It says, when the Lord, Isaiah 4:4, shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion. So the Lord has to come wash away the filth of our women, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. So the Lord is going to, purge, the elected ones out of there, and then the 2/3, the women that fall into that, and this go for the men too, and go for the nation as a whole. But even specifically speaking to the women, their spirits going to have to burn in that fire and come back, out of that fire through the loins of the righteous when the kingdom is established. That's when the filth of the daughters of Zion are going to be completely taken away. For the elect women, as they're being beamed up into the chariot, getting those new bodies, that new mind, that new spirit, that's when they'll be virgins again, truly virgins, So that's the filth that's going to have to be, purged, from the daughters of Zion, which currently that is not so. So let's show that further. Get a few more precepts and closing on out. This is the book of Ezekiel. So to all this madness, this is what the Most High got to say. Ezekiel 13 and 17, and it reads, likewise, thou son of man, speaking to the Israelite man, set thy face against the daughters of thy people. So we come against all of those that are against the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Set thy face against the daughters of thy people, which prophesy out of their own heart. So we see that the women completely go by what they feel, and they go out of what they believe is right, not what the word of the Most High say. They're against the words of the Most High. And prophesy thou against them. So the Lord said, prophesy against the daughters of the nation of Israel. Starting with the daughters of Judah on down, who's the head of a lot of this nonsense. But the other nations follow, but also the other tribes within our nation follow this as well. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, all the other tribes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are in league with this energy that's being pushed from the head tribe, which is the tribe of Judah, Benjamin down to Levi. So, now the Lord told us to prophesy against the daughters of our people. Why would he say that? Because this is what the Most High foretold already. He already said this right here was going to happen. Jeremiah 31 and verse 22. And it reads, how long will thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter, speaking of the nation of Israel, for the Lord, speaking of the nation of Israel and to the daughters of Zion, the women of Israel. For the Lord Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth, a woman shall compass a man. So the Most High made it clear that the women was going to compass the men, So as he made that clear, Isaiah 3:12 says that children are our oppressors and women rule over us. Showing you that the Most High told us to prophesy against the daughters of our people because he knew that the Israelite man would be degraded in this time. But we're about to be upgraded, as the elder Yashawama says, and we're about to be upgraded, because the Most High is about to give the Israelite man, starting with the elect, his rightful place back, in the, within the world and within our nation, first and foremost. So with that, I hope that was edifying. Call Allah Yamla, Allah Hayanawa Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who are the true teachers of Israel today. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Habayav Madawada, the house of David, labor to make their calling of election sure. And to the listeners, the believers, the Akim and Akwathim, to you, I say shalom as well. Shalom.